Greetings, everybody, and we are live. Of course, this is our other reaction. Of course, as expected, YouTube took down the live reactions because too much could be heard in the background that was copyrighted. So, even if you're talking over it and you can barely hear it in the background, according to YouTube, that's the same thing as watching it in live in concert with great audio and only hearing the music. Though I beg to differ. So we're gonna just go through the Oscars last night. It was quite a night. I wasn't really all that big into this year. One, we're missing 2 months out of the year worth of films that were stuffed into last year's, and I really do think that the field would have looked very different had those 2 months been included in this year. But we got what we got. So we're just going to go over these one at a time like we did last time. I'm going to start at the bottom, and we're going to end with actor before we go to best picture, just so we can have a little bit of difference between our predictions and so on. So let's start with original screenplay. So the winner was Belfast, written by Kenneth Branagh. But I don't even remember what I had said I thought was going to win because I really was checked out on it. I've never even seen Belfast, so I'm sure it deserves it. Kenneth Branagh probably could have written 5 sentences and been the winner, for all I know.
It was a short film, or largely silent.
It could have just been like a couple of people like saying the words one syllable at a time for 20 minutes per syllable. And
now the one thing that was extremely notable about this, Branagh going into this made history as the first person nominated in 7 different categories. But that was his first win. He is now an Oscar winner for the first time. So good on you, Kenneth Branagh.
And now I'll have to watch Belfast.
Yes.
Maybe.
Well, I was going to have to eventually, but yeah.
So did that match up your prediction?
I don't remember what I said, but I think I said it would either be Belfast or Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza actually got 0 wins
this
time, didn't it?
It went home empty-handed.
Yeah, just means I wanted to see it unless it's up for a Versus Award.
So it will be, I'm sure.
Adapted screenplay went to Coda, which is another film that I have not seen. I've had the opportunity to, but I have such limitations on what I can watch it on. It's literally I have to find
more opportunity than I do.
It would be sort of like if the only way you could watch the film is with your entire family sitting on the couch, and that was your only opportunity. Yeah, theoretically you could, but it makes it more limited. And then they all have to be up for it at the same time. So so that's basically my dilemma with Coda.
It's like herding cats.
So, but it did really well this year. And
there were only 3 multiple winners, and Coda was one of them.
So, did this match up with yours? I don't know.
I feel like I called that one for Power of the Dog, but I might have said Coda as a possible. I really don't remember.
Well, we'll move on.
I'm sure we know some who will be glad that it wasn't Dune, but one of the few Dune didn't get.
So, well, speaking of visual effects, Dune won.
Yeah. The only opportunity for glory for Free Guy, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Shang-Chi, and they all went home empty-handed.
I think I actually predicted Dune to win this
one. I think I did too. I know I did. I predicted Dune would get a technical sweep. And if we look at technical as below the line, quote unquote, it almost did pull a sweep. Almost.
There was I think one exception.
Yes, which we'll get. Well, a couple. There were a couple.
Sound, Dune got that one.
Yes.
And I think I did because of the sound mixing. And
I think I had said Dune, but I might have said West Side Story as a possible.
Yeah, I know Dave picked a West Side Story as his.
Yeah.
So short film,
The Long Goodbye,
which was, like I say, I don't know how to feel on that one. It was an okay film. I understood why it was, and it was important, and it was good. And it's good that Riz Ahmed got this because he really was hosed, because he should have won Best Actor last year. So I guess maybe this is a makeup for that.
It probably is.
Because I never got to see Take and Run or The Dress, so those could have been like super great short films. And I may never get to see them because if I have to pay to see them, I probably won't because of I already pay a lot for streaming services as is. If it's not on them, I'm not paying like $10 to see one short film. But On My Mind and Please Hold were spectacular films.
They were.
And both left an emotional imprint that The Long Goodbye had one, but I didn't feel it was as strong as those two.
I was able, I believe, if my memory is correct, I was able to knock out 4 additional Oscar-nominated films between our predictions and the actual show. And one of them was Please Hold. And that's a damn good little movie. I did not think The Long Goodbye was as good as either that one or On My Mind, but I definitely understand why it won. And I do think that you're right, that it was probably partly the topical importance of the film and partly a measure, sort of a, what's the word I'm saying? Catch up, a
pat on the back.
Pat on the back, yes. Exactly, yes. And I'm guessing all that noise is Dave is with us? Hey, Dave. So, what are your thoughts on Dune's big night?
I'm not surprised, but then again, they'll believe in crap anyways.
So we're just starting. We're what, 4 categories in?
Yeah, short film. Now we're moving on to short film animated,
which was a surprise.
That one surprised me. I mean, I guess I can understand because the windshield wiper was very artistic.
Yes,
but it was nowhere near as enjoyable as any.
It was a
other.
Jay Sherman film.
I mean, the only other one, I never got to see Beastie on Box Ballot, but Robin and Affairs of the Art were really good films.
Yeah,
and they were really enjoyable. But I guess they weren't. Well, but Affairs of the Art was also artistic. Just I don't get that.
Yeah, but it wasn't as pretentious.
That is true.
It was more fun. It was a comedy, and the Academy's iffy on comedies.
Though I am surprised about Robin not getting it, because Robin is a Aardman film.
Yeah.
And Oscars love Aardman.
Oh.
It was rather cute.
So what? Okay.
They also love a lot of shite.
Well, they do that.
Now, I will say this, not a single one of the ones that I have seen has been a bad film.
Yeah.
I have not seen, and I rarely ever see the Oscars nominate bad films. Crash being the exception.
Norbit.
For me. Yeah, Norbit. Well, usually that's a category that gets a lot of bad films nominated.
Yeah. I still remember that year, Jon Stewart's like, Norbit proves the Academy doesn't just nominate good films.
Yes. But usually they nominate very well done film, very good put together films.
And so for production design, Dune.
Well, yeah.
Obviously Dune.
Though.
But I would have loved to see Nightmare Alley get this one. And really all of these films had great production design. But again, I call Dune to sweep the technicals, and it pretty much did.
You cursed it.
Yeah.
So you have called for sweeps before, and they haven't necessarily.
I know they often don't. So I'm not always right about that.
So what did you? Well, I guess you. Now you saw Dune and the rest. Did you feel like it should have gotten the best production design, Dave?
Dune, House Atreides. Let me think. Well, unfortunately, it is the it is not a complete film. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm on the fence on this one because it is not complete and it's already getting awards. It's like they haven't even finished this story.
Well,
Number
it
2
is
could be a third.
unusual. It's unusual for a part one, but it's sort of like anything, like A New Hope for Star Wars. We didn't have to
Well,
wait.
if I'm looking at just this
Jedi.
film, if I'm looking at this film without the other one getting made, no.
Yes. Didn't feel like the sets and the design itself of everything was that good.
I only saw it once, and unfortunately, it was not a good viewing. So I'm just so used to things happening, and they're not happening. So
let's see.
Okay,
here.
we can skip that for now.
Yep, we'll get back to Best Picture.
Let's just skip
Music, original
Let's just
song.
skip it. No, original song was interesting.
I did think it was funny that the one that probably would have won and probably would have gotten nominated if they put it up was performed.
Yes. Well, I have a feeling there were two reasons and they didn't exactly do We Don't Talk About Bruno. They did a weird remix, but one, they had to acknowledge the Bruno in the Room.
Yeah.
And two, conspicuously absent was one of the nominees, so they had a slot to fill. Which is a shame because Down to Joy is a good song, but I still haven't read or seen whether Van Morrison was uninvited or whether he chose not to show up. I don't know what the story is there, but yeah, he was noticeably absent. All the other performers were there, and of course Beyonce had a huge production number with hers, of course. The performances were actually better than usual, I think, overall. They were good performances. And I'm glad they got to do them, which you never know each year. But
I did like the Latino singer that was on. I forget. I don't know what his name was.
I can't remember either, and I feel terrible about that. Like he's I think he's fairly well known, just not here.
Now, as far as the Van Morrison,
it was a nice slow Latino film, music that I think that I liked, even though I couldn't understand the music.
Sebastian Yatra, that's his name, Sebastian Yatra, and it's apparently the first fully Spanish song Lin-Manuel Miranda has written. And he did a fine job with it. It's a lovely song. And of course, they gave it to friggin' Billie Eilish and Finneas O'Connell for No Time to Die, which I want to know why the Academy went from a completely ignoring Bond themes to if a Bond theme is nominated, it has to win.
Because it's the last Bond film, so far as we know. Because it's the last Bond film, as far as we know.
Well, yeah, and it's a good one too. But the song is,
Maybe they were doing it because of the anniversary for Bond. I think it's like.
I didn't mind it. I also think it was in the same monotone as "The World Is Not Enough" theme. So
I actually really liked that one.
Well, I did find out that Van Morrison was not disinvited.
Okay.
He was still invited, but because he had his tour going at the same time, he did not have the ability to do so.
He just felt that he'd rather be on tour than okay. Well, we'll give him a pass for that. Okay. I knew there was some controversy because of some things he said about COVID and the vaccine, so I wasn't sure, but okay.
He's out making money.
That works. Okay.
Did anyone witness the Will Smith slapperoo?
Not quite.
Well,
But
we'll talk about that when we hit actor and
when we good choice of words.
Or when the actor hits us, I guess.
Okay, so original score, Dune.
Dune, of course. I was just like, we can just skip over that.
Yeah, I mean they're all good. I haven't heard Parallel Mothers, but again, they're all good scores. But seriously, what did Hans Zimmer do for the Oscars? That it's like he has a lock on this award. I guess he's the new John Williams or something,
Yeah.
but like I don't know. I like John Williams better than Hans Zimmer. I don't know.
I did like that Encanto got the nomination.
I like it got a nomination, but
they've been a little bit. The Oscars have at least expanded nomination-wise with animated features
slightly.
A little bit. It's possible now for an animated feature to get a nomination outside of animated feature.
Possible.
Yeah,
but come on, the Mitchells versus the Machines and Raya and the Last Dragon should have got more than one nod.
But 20 years ago, it would not have even. There would be zero chance. Encanto would never have been on that original score piece.
Now I know that I'm hating on Dune a lot this year, but maybe that's because I haven't seen the other half. But based on that film alone, that film was crap compared to what we've already gotten.
Please insert media to continue.
Oops.
What was that?
Sorry.
Okay. That was interesting.
So, let's see. Makeup and hairstyle.
And this was interesting. Dune did not win. It actually went to The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which The Eyes of Tammy Faye was the only multiple winner that batted 100%.
Yeah,
which is kind of incredible. I didn't know that it would win anything. So,
which is good. It was a good film.
Yeah, it was. This was one of the other ones I got to knock out before the show.
And I was definitely, and this is one of the few that I predicted that was 100% correct because I predicted this would win.
I can't remember if I think I probably said it was Cruella or Dune or maybe Eyes of Tammy. I thought this could have been a spoiler, but I wasn't sure. But now that I've seen it, I can see it because the makeup is pretty solid.
Can't talk Tammy Faye without makeup.
I mean, if nothing else, they took Andrew Garfield and Jessica Chastain, basically aged them through about 30 years fairly convincingly. Not to mention all the crazy ass makeup she wore just on top of everything.
Yep, sure.
Yeah. And Vincent D'Onofrio made a passable Jerry Falwell, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Jerry Falwell is one of those people that you either love him or you don't like him at all. It says there's not really much in between for him.
No.
But it definitely came across well as sort of like that Godfather of.
Yes, it's like I've been saying ever since I saw The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I think it's hilarious. The last thing I saw Vincent D'Onofrio do was playing the Kingpin in Hawkeye. And so I love the idea of the Kingpin being Jerry Falwell. Especially because he kind of plays him in a very similar way. But anyway.
So let's see. International feature.
Yeah.
So Drive My Car won, which I did. I had picked Drive My Car to win with the hope for Flea.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear I thought you said worst person in the world.
I said that Flea may have a ghost of a chance. Worst person in the world was the likely spoiler. But no, Drive My Car was the clear favorite in this category. There's no question.
Let's see. So next.
Yeah.
Film editing.
Dune.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, though, it's sad because we had some pretty good ones. I mean, Tick, Tick, Boom should have gotten it.
One of the other ones I did get to watch after we did our nominations was Tick, Tick, Boom. And yeah, the editing is solid in that film. It's solid. But I haven't seen King Richard, but all the others had solid editing. And Dune... Yeah, I mean, it was good. I I would have probably given it to Tick Tick Boom, or I think I called Power of the Dog even, but I can't remember. I really don't remember what I called in this category, other than to say Dune was going to get a technical sweep.
What about you,
I
Dave?
did finally get to see The Power of the Dog last night.
Good deal. So what'd you think on it?
Well, it was definitely a sleeper Western. Definitely had a kind of a, oh yeah, kind of an ending.
Sleeper was
It's
definitely
like
a good term for me.
the reason why I say sleeper is because it doesn't dawn on you until you say,
"Oh, what? How it's going to end?" Yeah.
See, I called it sleeper just because I fell asleep multiple times while watching the film.
Well, some people don't appreciate the finer things, right, Dave? I know you like your Westerns.
I like Westerns, and to be honest, I was falling asleep more through Gosford than I was this.
This one to me came across more Little House on the Prairie than Western.
Little House on the Prairie, really?
Yep. A little bit less wholesome, but yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there were some definite alphabet soup stuff going on there.
The weird thing is, this was not the first Western I saw with Cody Smith McPhee. Slow West was a good one. It was a little different. Documentary short. The fourth one I saw before the show was The Queen of Basketball, which ultimately was our winner here. And it's a solid film. It's very entertaining. The main character, the subject of the film, she is kind of a character. She was kind of fun to watch.
It was one of the few categories that I had seen all of the films in.
I'm still missing two. I know Leave Me Home is it Netflix? It's like a 40-minute. It's like a 40-minute film. It's right
almost
on the upper.
Feature, yeah.
It's almost a feature. Yeah. Yeah.
I liked all of them, and I can understand why The Queen of Basketball got it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, also, it really does depend on what the Oscars wants to honor diversity-wise, because if it depends on that. Now, traditionally, race will trump political turmoil and LGBTQ issues.
Well, and you got to factor in the fact that the lady who the documentary is about died slightly before the film was.
Actually, she died this year. She died before the film was released.
Oh, I didn't realize
that.
But
I don't know if she died that long. I mean, she might have died a few years ago, for all I know.
It wasn't a few years ago, but yeah.
They mentioned it that her parents were here and that
she didn't live to see the film. I know that.
I must have missed that.
But yeah, didn't live to see the film could mean a lot of things. That just means that she died before the film came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to say. Like I say, for instance, what was it? Darn, who is the Godfather?
Are you talking about the guy who played the Godfather?
Yeah, okay, Harold Ramis didn't. Sadly, Harold Ramis didn't live to see Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Right.
That's the same statement, but I wouldn't necessarily take that as, oh, well, he must have died just before the film debuted.
But you're talking a completely different situation. Someone who died before the movie even went into production versus someone who's the subject of a film and is on screen for most of the film. Very different situation. But anyway.
But let's see. I can answer this question while we're going. Go ahead.
But anyway, so yeah, that we had that one.
Don't move on until I get this thing.
Okay. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I did like a lot of the others. Audible was good too.
Audible was good, and it is a little bit surprising that they didn't go with the theme as well as Coda did. But just a little bit.
All right. She died. Okay, so yeah, she did die very recently then. She died January 18th of this year.
And she was not in the
that is weird that she wouldn't be in the just because, I mean, this.
Yeah. So we know they left. We know probably why they left off Meatloaf. They did leave off her, Gaspard Ullier. They left off Bob Saget.
Mm-hmm.
They left off a lot of people. But anyway. So where are we going now?
All right. So we got the feature film.
Which
Summer of Soul won, which is it makes sense.
Or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised, which actually is kind of ironic because the part of the show that could not be televised happened in the introduction to this.
Yeah. And of course, we just found out that Riding with Fire is going to be getting a DVD release this week.
Yes, very cool.
Which is kind of cool.
I need to see it.
Flea is one that I
need to see it.
I wish it did. It's great that it got 3 nominations and didn't win a single one of them.
Yeah.
But I do understand. They're both important films.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of... Flea tackles not just refugee issues, but LGBTQ issues.
Well, these are all important films in one way or another.
Attica is also one that tackles race and rights for the privately owned prison systems of the world. Ascension was really good in its way of doing things. But Summer of Soul, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
It is... I guess it just disappointed me when I see this film is so good, and then it's just kind of like... Yeah, but be happy with your nominations.
Yeah. But So, we're going on to directing.
Unless any of y'all had any comments for the documentaries.
I mean, well, I called Summer of Soul as likely to win just because it's a crowd pleaser, and I just felt like this was a year for one. And because, again, all of these were, quote, important films. That one's just kind of, it's interesting.
It's a gray area for me. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any of those yet, and I'm not even sure where I can see Flea. So
now,
Hulu.
Now I'm gonna disagree with you. I think this is where we should mention that one thing that everyone's been talking about because this is when it actually happened. And so this one was presented by Chris Rock. And we saw nothing. We saw him cracking some jokes and then freeze because, we're like, it's buffering. And then he seemed a little flustered. And then he presented the award. And, Questlove seemed really emotional, which, you expect, whatever. And there were a couple of references dropped here and there, but we didn't know until I was talking with Kim afterwards, and this one's on the computer, and he's like, just starts randomly playing something, and we were like, well, what is this? What?
Yeah. Well, the thing was, it also, I might as well talk Best Actor while we're talking because it reflected pretty much right after or close to it, where Will Smith gave that very tearful. He won for King Richard.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like extremely tearful. And they cut out several pieces of it where you actually saw them put up the board like technical difficulties or something in the middle there, and it was just like, what's that? There's something weird going on with this stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just weird.
Yeah. It was weird. And of course we find out that apparently Chris Rock crossed the line. Will Smith called him on it very publicly. And it's all anyone's been able to talk about for the last day. Although apparently Will Smith has officially apologized to Chris Rock. He did apologize in his speech to everyone but Chris Rock.
Yeah. Which I guess he wasn't prepared to at the time.
Yeah.
The Oscars has kind of remanded him as well for it, but there's a lot of people now online saying that it was set up and that it was fake.
It could, who knows? So, who knows what the story is? But
it's hard to say.
It was interesting. Let's put it that way, and weird. But it would have been more interesting probably if we'd seen it at the time.
Yeah, it's too bad that I never got to see King Richard. I
Yeah.
did get to see Power of the Dog, which
You
won
did
Best
see that one.
Director.
Okay. Yes. Jane
which-
Campion making history, the second woman to win in a row. Wow. Yay, 2022 that we get to this milestone now.
Both this one and Nomadland had a similar kind of drab feel to me. Power of the Dog was just, like I said, Power of the Dog put me to sleep. I felt like, okay, I understand the drama of talking back and forth.
Campion's the one who directed Bright Star, right?
Yeah,
that one kind of put me to sleep.
But
I didn't get put to sleep during Power of the Dog. Let's just put it
I
that way.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
It just was boring to me.
I mean, compared to her other films, again, I'm pretty sure what I've seen by her, I'm going to check to make sure I'm right. I think it's Bright Star and the film that she was previously nominated for, which was The Piano. Compared to those, Power of the Dog was downright enjoyable. But
Must be my only time seeing.
I suppose if you like seeing cover snatches snatch in the middle of the woods.
I need to see Top of the let's see. Yeah, I never saw In the Cut. Oh, she did Holy Smoke. I didn't realize that. That was a weird ass movie. Weird ass movie.
Now on that, so the Nomadland did not put me to sleep, but I did not feel like it was the best of films on display there. So
yeah,
it was just as it was.
Yeah, this one I still need to see Drive My Car and Belfast, but yeah.
And that's one thing I will say that I'm hoping that we don't ever do with the Versus Awards is that I hope people don't have to start asking themselves, is this winning because it really is the best direction, or is it winning because there's some sort of political motive behind it? And
no politics. We just don't. We're just a diverse group of geeks that most of us don't give a damn about whether it's really the best. It's what we like.
Well, it's what we think the
best. Yes, with occasional exceptions. You nominate things you know damn well are not the best. You just are amused by them.
Sometimes that does mean it's the best.
But yeah, like sometimes with director, I will do something where I don't think it's necessarily the best job. Like of the ones I've seen here, Jane Campion, I thought did do a phenomenal job directing. Spielberg and Paul Thomas Anderson did very good, but they've both done better. But some of the people I think should have been in this category, I give them points sometimes for taking something that shouldn't have worked and making it work. That's one of the reasons why I thought Jason Reitman should have been in the running for Ghostbusters Afterlife, or to do, let's see, a really out there one. I don't know. I'm sure there's a really out there one. And then I thought James Gunn should have been in the running for the Suicide Squad.
True, but he was able to revive something that was
he took something moribund and turned it into something brilliant. So anyway,
and the last one was an Oscar winner.
Yeah. But Dave, I'm sure you're thrilled that Denis Villeneuve was not up for director for Dune. Although a lot of people were like, why? But anywho, so one of the few that Dune got its ass kicked in was one I actually thought it would. One of the only below the line ones where I thought it would, which was costume design. Luckily, went to a deserving candidate, which was Cruella. That was a very interesting thing. Fairly deserving.
Yep, I thought so. I think I even put it in there as Though some of them did. I mean, those were pretty good ones for that nomination.
Oh yeah, well I haven't seen Cyrano, but all the others were definitely solid. Yeah. Okay.
Cinematography.
Now this was one I was annoyed to see Dune win. I figured it probably would, but could have been Macbeth. Holy crap, it should have been Macbeth. But yeah.
I agree.
For that.
Yeah. Belfast probably should have been, yeah. But I mean, again, all of these were gorgeously shot films. West Side Story, Power of the Dog, Nightmare Alley, all of them had their definite advantages. Dune as well. All of them had their pluses. They all were very, very well shot films. But Macbeth was head and shoulders above the others. It could have won. But
all right.
Anyway.
Animated feature.
All right.
Well, of course Encanto was going to win.
Of course.
What else was there? I think that Flea was a better film, but at the same time, I do feel like the Academy, for his nominations, I believe that's because the nominations are done more by the people who make the films.
Yeah.
And the Academy at large, I think, is the ones who votes on the winners, if I remember correctly. I really think that the people who do the nominations understand that animated feature doesn't have to mean family friendly, but I feel like the people voting on animated feature think that that family friendly is a big prerequisite for the course.
Right. And if people took this category more seriously, I think it would have gone to the Mitchells versus the Machines, but it definitely, Encanto was one that kind of hit the sweet spot of being a damn good film that was a family film.
I mean, I'm not going to take it away from Encanto. It really was a good movie.
Right.
And I did think it was better than Luca. I actually liked it, even though Mitchells versus the Machines I thought was more creative. I did feel like Encanto was.
It was easily the critical favorite, which is why I'm saying it would have gone that way otherwise. But yeah, so Encanto got it, obviously. So it got something, but that does mean because the Academy is prejudiced against animation in every other category, that all the others went home empty-handed.
And I wonder. Do you think, even though a lot of the times those cases win, do you feel like the Flea being animated had any? Do you feel like that stood out against it in some of the other categories?
Probably.
Because that's just kind of an odd thing. I really do feel like Flea was Waltz with Bashir, not Waltz with Bashir. Was that Waltz?
Waltz with Bashir was
was that? But this was done even in a better way. I feel like that knocked that out of the park.
That was a good one.
So,
supporting actress.
So, that one was one. I'm glad that you got that.
I think we all called this one, didn't we?
We did. Ariana DeBose deserved that one.
Yeah.
And she did an excellent job with it. She had a great speech. I think she was the first one that they awarded, wasn't it?
Which is usually always kick off with one of the supporting ones.
And
and she was one of the ones in a dress that I actually liked.
Well, about 3/4 the one anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was she did a good presence early on, and it was cool.
It was good, yes. All right.
And of course she made some different sorts of history with hers being the first the first Afro-Latina to win, and the first one who's also in the LGBTQ community. And I want to say there's something about like her winning for the role that Rita Moreno won for is kind of historical too. I can't remember if it's like I don't think it's the first person to win for a role someone else played, because I think that's been done.
I am glad that they remedied the issue with the lead actress in the film.
Oh, yeah.
Who had been not invited to go to the Oscars. Like, oh, well, we'll make sure you're a presenter now.
She's like, I never thought I'd be here 6 days ago. Yeah. It's pretty cool. And of course, they paired him with a dude who's what is he, a foot and 3 inches taller than her?
Goodness.
It was a little
Yeah,
bit.
she looked rather short next to him.
She's very short. She's 5'1".
Mhm.
Yeah, so they had leading actress, and I was caught off guard by this one. I thought it was going to Nicole Kidman. I think you were convinced of Olivia Colman.
Yeah,
right?
it was. I was saying Olivia Colman and or Nicole Kidman, and then I put Jessica Chastain up as my third.
Yeah, I would not have. Now, once I saw the film, she did a great job in this film, and she's a great actress generally. And there's something else I'll touch on in a bit, but I really thought it would be Nicole Kidman. I mean, she was playing friggin' Lucille Ball. I mean, the Academy.
But she did a great job.
She did a great job, but yeah.
Yeah, though I admit Jessica Chastain did a better job acting at the end of the day when I'm reviewing it. Olivia Colman, it did surprise me she didn't get it just because she is an Oscar darling at the moment.
You keep saying that.
And she had, and her part in this film, which I thought I didn't see, but I apparently had seen when I realized what it was about, is very much Oscar baity. I mean, I am surprised. But I mean, shoot, you've called it for Olivia Colman and most of the stuff you've seen for her. I think what was it?
I think we're talking like 2 movies here.
Yeah, like I say, it doesn't take long to get a streak.
I don't call 2 movies a streak typically, but whatever. Anyway, so what's up? Where are we at?
All right, let's see. So, actor in a supporting role. This was a huge win for this community. I think the first deaf actor to win for Coda, Troy Kotsur, winning Best Actor. That was really cool. And then, of course, the presenter actually signed to him, and people all signing the applause. It was a very emotional moment.
He had a touching speech. It was very nice. It was very it was touching and off color and everything. It was great. But yeah, it was. I think I'd said he was the odds-on favorite to win, and he did at the end of the day. He pulled it off. And so, okay, well, no, I'll wait till we get to the last one before I do the overall acting thing. But
I like J.K. Simmons being a Cars. I understand why he didn't win, but it was a very amusing role. He was probably one of the best ones to play that character. He was good for William Frawley. So, and of course, we hit actor already with the Will Smith stuff and his speech.
Yeah.
And
which again, it seemed like a very touching speech. We didn't realize all the backstory to it, but he was clearly emotional, and he kept apologizing to people, and it kept going. Why is he apologizing for winning? And it was like, but okay,
it's the first win after all these.
But that's what I wanted to say about. Okay, so I really should have brought this up to make sure that I knew the exact stats. But basically, with real quick, I meant to say with Jane Campion, but weird thing, Power of the Dog at the end of the day got Best Director. So Jane Campion apparently is the first person since Mike Nichols with The Graduate in 1968 to win director for a film that got nothing else. So that's a weird statistic there. But so this was Will Smith's third time at bat. Yeah. So it was technically his 4th nomination because he's also a producer on the film. So he third time is the charm for him. And the other one that I'm wanting to mention here is Jessica Chastain, who this was her 3rd time at bat. She was a nominee for The Help and for Zero Dark 30. So, and of course, Will Smith was a nominee for Ali and for The Pursuit of Happiness. So that's a weird strange thing that no one seems to have hit on from what I've seen as far as the acting wins. With the supporting actors, Ariana DeBose and Troy Kotzer, you had two very talented theater actors who were virtual unknowns in cinema, nominated for their first major film roles, first Oscar nomination and win. And for the leads, you had two veteran actors who were both at their third time at bat. That's just a really weird kind of almost coincidence that they had that going. And I thought that was kind of cool that it played out that way. But, you know, it's, yeah, obviously have mixed feelings right now about Mr. Smith. But, you know, the fact that he has apologized says something. The fact that Chris Rock didn't press charges says something. And, you know, we'll see.
Like I said, we will see as time goes on more about that.
Yeah.
Well,
picture.
The very end one. We've been talking about these. Why don't you go ahead and read our winner off for us? Because you should be able to see it on your screen.
All righty. It says for Best Picture, the winner is Coda.
All right.
And the other nominees were.
We don't need to go through all of them.
Yeah, we know.
We don't need to go through all those, but the winner is Coda.
So, are you disappointed that Dune didn't get Best Picture, Dave?
No, not a bit. I'm not surprised that it got as many as it did because Hollywood will polish a turd and think it's still great. So,
well, I was surprised about Coda, but that's because I hadn't seen it.
I was a little surprised. I think I thought it was going to Power of the Dog. I can't remember what I called, but I think that was it.
So yeah, it's one of those things.
Or Belfast.
Where I had to think. I think I called Nightmare Alley.
No.
Like, that's the one I liked the best out of what I saw.
Oh, Nightmare Alley went home empty-handed, which very, very upsetting for me. So of the nominees for Best Picture, Nightmare Alley, Licorice Pizza, and Don't Look Up, three of my favorites of the bunch went home empty-handed. Being the Ricardos went home empty-handed. Flea went home empty-handed.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ones that were only up for one friggin' award went home empty-handed, of course. And I think there were a couple other big ones. As far as the overall wins, our Best Picture winner only had 3 total wins. And then, of course, Dune had 6. And the Eyes of Tammy Faye won both of the awards it was up for. Who would have called those 3 to be the 3 multiple winners?
Indeed. Well,
I don't know.
We've got to run because we got an appointment with another live cast coming up. But this is a busy day for our channel. We've got the new releases, and now this Oscar one, and now a anime anticlimax episode. So I hope y'all will join us in a few for that on this channel. If you're tuning in live, that is.
For Hachimitsu Tokoroba.
And unlike the others, I'll actually be able to monitor what's going on. So if you're chatting and all that stuff, I'll be able to see you like right away.
All right.
So with that being said, we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.